Have you noticed that there are a lot of things going on currently as far as space weather is concerned, big moon phases, and some craziness on the planet as far as volcanoes and tsunamis and earthquakes? And if you're paying attention to the Schumann resonance, you're seeing that sucker go all over the place too. On this episode, I am going to help you better understand how all of these things affect the body and what to do to prevent what's coming. This episode is all about August 2025 and what's happening in space weather and your body shenanigans that we're going to get ahead of. Are you ready? I'm your host, Amanda Smith. Welcome back to the Gutsy Chick podcast, where I am helping you understand how to manage this body, whether you're a high performer, an athlete, or you're just someone very curious about somatics and space weather. That's why I'm here. I am a former aerospace engineer, worked on several NASA projects and programs, and space is my favorite place, not only to imagine being. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. That sent me into mechanical and aerospace engineering. And now I am a body whisperer, helping people like you solve the puzzle that is your body. Now, this space weather affects all of us, some more than others. Those of us who are aware that all of these things are going on and are very tuned into our body are sometimes called highly sensitive people. If that's you, you're in the right place, because this episode is going to prep you for what's to come. I am excited to take this new adventure and share every month what's coming as far as space weather is concerned and how you can help yourself. I'm uniquely qualified to help with this. And I don't think that anybody else is talking about this. And what I'm about to call you is the new name I'm using, and I hope you like it. You are a somatinaut, a somatic astronaut. That means that you're tuned into your nervous system, you're tuned into your body, and you're tuned in to the space weather happening all around us all the time. So let's get you prepared for what's to come in August. The release date of this episode is August 14th, which means we just came through a very big, bright, and powerful full moon. In Maria Yesburu's tradition, she calls this the owl moon. You might have seen on Facebook, it's also called the sturgeon moon. Maria explains in the next episode next week about why she doesn't call it the sturgeon moon, she calls it the owl moon. It's kind of interesting. Stick around for that episode next week. We also had the 8-8 Lion's Gate. So if you're into astrology, this is a manifestation time. Full moons generally are when we want to let go of things, and new moons are when we want to manifest. But this full moon landed on Lion's Gate, which is also a time to manifest. Call in what you want. Ask the big asks. Now, again, this episode's airing on August 14th, 2025. So the window has left us as far as those big asks are concerned. But pay attention to the new moon that's coming. Let's see, let me get my date. August 23rd. This is going to be a Virgo moon, so it's perfect for organizing, cleaning, and body resets. So again, this concept with the moons about calling in what you want on a new moon and releasing during a full moon has everything to do with the feminine cycle, has everything to do with how we should be treating our body. I've spoken about this on other episodes, but if you're someone who might be in perimenopause like me and you never know when your period's going to show up, or you are through menopause and you don't have a period anymore, start cycling mentally with the moons. It is the best way to continue the process. Now, if you do still have a cycle, this is something that I learned from my teachers and I absolutely love it. Pack your womb with the things that you want to release. And as you release your cycle, your menstrual blood takes those things that you want to release. And this is a mindset. This is a practice. So August 23rd, your new moon, perfect for organizing, cleansing, and body resets. We're headed into fall, people. In fact, part of the space weather that we're experiencing on planet has to do with the polar vortex. The polar vortex has started to spin, which means in the northern hemisphere, we're going into fall. And in the southern hemisphere, you're going into spring. This is a time to be very gentle on your body. We're entering that phase. Now, for some of us, like I'm in Colorado, that phase actually starts happening this month. I've already started seeing trees changing in my neighborhood. It's wild to think about because we just had a week of 100 degrees. But it's happening. And the trees know. They caught the whiff from the polar vortexes that things are about to change, and they're changing. Other parts of the United States, you're going to see these fall fun shenanigans happen closer to October. Some of you will see in September. But here in Colorado, we're going to see it at the end of August, beginning of September. That is when we generally start to see the leaves change in the mountains. And then down the mountains into the Front Range, we'll see more changes about mid-September. And then the rest of the country starts to catch up with our high altitude leaf changing. Those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going into springtime. It's the exact same. You are going to start seeing the budding flowers. These are indicators of when to plant certain things. If you pay attention to when, say, the crocuses come up, that's when you want to plant your peas. That science of watching what plants are blooming and then planting is something that I absolutely adore. Right now, it escapes me what the word is for that. But those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, look into when to plant what relative to when things pop up or start to bloom, blossom, or leaf out. Other space weather. We are in a solar maximum. When I say space weather in the aerospace industry, that means we are specifically talking about the sun. But when I talk to you who might not have been in the aerospace industry, you hear space weather, and that's everything going on in space, from the moon to the sun to the planets. Mercury retrograde is going on right now. If you're paying attention to astrology, that just means that there's a backward path relative to our view on where the Mercury is shifting in our sky. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden Mercury decided to go backwards in its orbit. But the space weather that we're experiencing, August 8th and 9th, I know that's already passed. We had an aurora opportunity in the northern hemisphere that came all the way down into Colorado, across that line. Part of the country could see the auroras, and part of the country, those of us who are a little bit more south, could see the auroras through photography. This was a fairly large solar storm, a G2, G1 geomagnetic storm, and it was due to a coronal mass ejection. This is CME, you'll hear me say that a bunch, and a coronal hole stream. We got some auroras. It was awesome. Southern Hemisphere, you got auroras possible in Tasmania, southern New Zealand, and southern Argentina and Chile. So you guys got similar activity from the pole as well. Here's what to look for coming up in space weather. August 11th through the 15th. So this is airing on the 14th. So the 15th, we could still be having some space weather. This is potential G1 minor storm from high-speed solar winds. We're also going to have one August 18th through the 22nd, somewhere in that window. And then a third one, August 25th through the 30th. 3 storms this month. That's a decent amount of activity going on. G1 storms don't tend to give us auroras all the way down to Colorado, but the northern states and the more southern states in the southern hemisphere, you guys will probably see some auroras. It's exciting times. Here's what to look for in your body: sleep disruptions, brain fog, emotional spikes, odd heart rhythms. When we have solar storms, these are the things that show up. Here's how to combat them. Look at taking a higher dose of magnesium. If you don't already take magnesium, do an Epsom salt bath. Do your Epsom salt bath before the solar storm strikes. So be looking for the exact date, or jump on board with just do a Epsom salt bath every night, August 11th through the 15th, or August 18th through the 22nd, and August 25th through the 30th. Or go back and look for specific dates. I will be posting these in my YouTube channel. Each time we have a solar storm coming, I'm going to give you tips on how to help yourself before it gets here. We have enough warning, unless it's a super, super high speed solar wind. Generally, we have about a day to 2 days to respond. Magnesium, Epsom salt baths. Salt ceremony is another option. If you have Hawaiian red salt, sea salt, or you have Himalayan sea salt, or what's the other one? I want to say Irish, but that doesn't feel right. But there's another sea salt that's high in trace minerals. These all have magnesium in them. Lick your pinky, stick it in the salt, put it in your mouth. That was how much you needed. And when it's in your mouth, think happy thoughts. I got that one from Linda Yespuru, who was on Gutsy Chick podcast a couple of episodes ago. Go listen to her episode on hand walking. That one I absolutely love. But she's the one who taught me about salt ceremonies. I do 2 to 5 a day, depending on where my magnesium is at and what I need. But for you, during these solar activity times, get some magnesium. Hydration. Hydration is also super key during this time. Our bodies are being inundated with extra radiation during these times. Our planet does a great job with its electromagnetic sphere to protect us from this radiation, but the radiation is higher during this time. Hydrate. And then the last one, go outside and get grounded. That means take off your shoes, put your feet on the ground, maybe even put your hands on the ground if you're having an emotional upheaval, and let Mother Earth's electromagnetic grounding take it from your body. Sinking your body into the ground, it's called earthing. It's a phenomenal thing to do. Yes, there are tons of products now that you can buy and put in your house so that you're grounded all the time. I have grounding sheets and grounding pillow cases and a grounding mat and all sorts of things that support my body in grounding throughout a night, sometimes during the day. And then when I'm really having an emotional upheaval, I get outside. I put my hands down on the ground, my feet down on the ground, and I give it to mama. Ooh, I lost my place. There we go. All right, the Schumann resonance. If you've never heard of what the Schumann resonance is, it's the heartbeat of our planet. You can actually go and watch a video of the pulsing of our planet. This electromagnetic heartbeat is typically around 7.83 hertz. But lately, we've been seeing some crazy spikes. Some of those crazy spikes are because we've got a lot of volcanic activity going on, a lot of earthquakes going on, and a lot of tsunamis going on. So areas that we've been seeing some of the biggest spikes: Italy, Russia, California, Alaska. All of those areas are highly active in volcanic activity, tsunamis, and earthquakes. So the Schumann resonance has been jumping to 40 to 60 hertz and then completely dropping out temporarily. Here's what your body does when there's a spike: racing thoughts, restlessness, and insomnia. Sleep constantly being disrupted. Do you see how this is playing out in your sleep? When we see these sudden drops, we're looking at fatigue, depression like heaviness, and dizziness. If you're super sensitive, these are the things you're going to start witnessing during these lows or the highs. Whew. So I encourage you to find a Schumann app, check it out daily, see what's going on as far as Schumann resonance is concerned, and then decide, am I going to need to work on high spikes or total dropouts? The moon phases. I've already mentioned that we have the full moon on August 9th. It's called the owl moon or the sturgeon moon, depending on what cosmology, native cosmology you follow. And then August 23rd, we have the new moon. These are times to release new moons, full moons, or manifest new moons. The way that I like to remember this is when the moon is void, when we can't see the moon, not void, but when we can't see the moon, we're cleaning the slate. And this is when we want to draw in and write new goals, new aspirations, new desires. And then during the full moon, we release those. We've got some meteor showers happening. In the Northern Hemisphere, we've got the Perseids, August 11th to the 13th. I believe it was 125 shooting stars per hour. That's a lot. That's a very, very active meteor shower. This airs on the 14th, so we're just at the very, very, very tail end. I'm sure you'll still see some. In the Southern Hemisphere, we've got the Southern Delta Aquariids and Alpha Copernikids. And that was late July to early August. I don't have exact dates for that one like I do for the Northern Hemisphere. I apologize. But early August, we might have already cleared it, unfortunately. Some planetary events. August 11th through the 13th, Venus-Jupiter conjunction. This is visible pre-dawn in both hemispheres. So you can see these two pass near each other. August 19th, Mercury's greatest elongation. It's bright pre-dawn in the south. You guys can check that out. And then in August, lunar occultation of Antares in New Zealand and South America. So that one, I'm excited about that. The moon passes in front of Antares. It's a really bright red star. I'm trying to remember where Antares is. It's close to Orion's belt, just southeast of Orion's belt. That's cool to look for. Some fun astrology things. If you follow astrology, I think there's some shakeup in the astrology world right now, considering we found another planet. And it's never been taken into consideration before when it comes to astrology. And I'm curious from my astrological friends what you're thinking about this newfound planet. Now, it hasn't been officially named. We're calling it Planet 9 right now, but it's not officially named. But we are stating that it is a planet in our solar system. It is very black. You cannot see it in the visible sky with your naked eye. I don't even know if you can see it with a telescope that us lay people have, but I bet if you went to a planetarium and they have a very strong telescope, you can probably get your eyes on this new planet that is super far away. 2 years ago, the Voyager satellite passed beyond this planet and started to reach the extent of our solar system. this year. They called it a planet because it does orbit the sun. It does affect gravitational pull in that area. And it's not a dwarf planet like Pluto got downgraded to. And of course, the other 4 planets that are also dwarf in our solar system that nobody's paying attention to: Sirius, Makemake, Haumea, and Eris. Check those out. Those are 4 other dwarf planets in our solar system that astrology doesn't talk about either. Sirius is actually really close to Earth. It's between Mars and Jupiter, I believe. Let me look at my map. Yep, between Mars and Jupiter. All right, so here's what's going on in astrology land. If you're paying attention to that, I'm going to drop these here. Mercury retrograde is happening right now until August 29th. Heightened nervous system sensitivity is what's going on with that. So for some of us who were not born under a Mercury retrograde, we're experiencing communication breakdowns. Those of us who were born under a Mercury retrograde, our communication's doing just fine. We might see some tech issues though, because that's the other one that shows up during Mercury retrograde. These are patterns that we've noticed during this time when Mercury is rotating through our sky in what looks like a backwards path. It's obviously not, like I mentioned before. August 19th, Mars enters Gemini. This is scattered energy, mental overstimulation, and balance is needed. August 23rd, already mentioned the new moon in Virgo, focus on grounding, body care, and detox. A great way to detox, if we also have that CME coming toward us, that space weather from the sun, magnesium, grounding, getting into a bath. And if you want to add a detox element to your bath with your Epsom salts, add in baking soda. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. I personally like to do 1 cup of magnesium, 1 cup of Epsom salts to 1 cup baking soda for full effect. Now, if it's the first time that you're ever getting into a Epsom salt detox bath, maybe go with a 1/2 cup first. Might stir up a poo. Just warning you. Okay, and then we've got Saturn retrograde in Pisces from June until November. That's going on obviously in August. We're revisiting emotional patterns, especially tied to water, floods, oceans, tsunamis. Wild. During this Mercury retrograde, check for gut sensitivity. If you seem to be having some off gut situations, it might be because of Mercury in Virgo specifically. We have a lunar eclipse coming up in the beginning of September. I will touch on that at the beginning of September on the episode relative to September's space weather and body shenanigans. Mars in Gemini, let's see. Mars in Gemini, August 19th, is tension in the shoulders and restless sleep. Back to this whole restless sleep keeps showing up relative to all of this space weather. Do yourself a favor. Cover your eyes. Sometime during the day, maybe at night right before you go to bed, close your eyes, cover your eyes, just like I'm doing if you're watching the YouTube video. And you're going to look in your eyes shut to see if you're seeing any spots, colors, shapes, anything showing up. For me right now, I have this interesting like V shape in the upper right corner of my vision that almost looks like it's made out of blocks. Minecraft much. And I'm going to wait for these spots, colors, shapes to go away. This is me giving my nervous system a break, giving my eyes, which take in so much input, a break. And when we do this, when we finish seeing all those spots, colors, and lights, our nervous system has calmed down. Such a fabulous, fabulous thing. That is my somatic tip for helping with your sleep, because as we calm our nervous system down, it becomes so much easier to fall asleep, stay asleep, and not feel these disruptions that the space weather is throwing our way. Mother Earth is talking to us. Have you guys noticed all of the volcanic activity? Hawaii's volcano, Kilauea, which I visited in March, is just had episode 30. It continues to go off. We have had a couple of volcanoes erupt in Russia. There is a lot of activity in the volcanic sphere. We're seeing geysers popping up in Nevada. That's new and wild. Pay attention to this, because these kinds of changes on our planet affect us as well. For some of us, if you're living in those areas, your nervous system is probably going to get a little disrupted, because safety is the name of the game. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. And if you're not feeling safe because you live near a volcano, or we also have tsunamis happening if you live near a coast where a tsunami could hit, or you live in an area where earthquakes are prominent, or earthquakes are happening currently. Russia's seeing some fun big earthquakes. We had an M8.8 happen recently. That's a huge earthquake. If you're in those areas, start looking for ways to calm your nervous system. Do some vagal toning, breathing exercises, humming, singing, dancing, rhythmic movements like walking, cross-body movements like hugging and tapping. All of these things are ways to help your nervous system calm down, and they're quick, easy, fast ways to do that. Wildfires are the other thing we're seeing. Right now here in Colorado, we've got a couple of big wildfires going on. There's a bunch of wildfires happening in Canada right now. We just had a big wildfire in South America. I believe it was in Argentina. There have been a lot more wildfires right now. Check in with your own hydration when you're in those areas, as well as check in with the air quality. Air quality is definitely going to affect you, whether you have asthma or not, whether you have compromised lungs or not. It's going to affect you. So please, please pay attention to that. Stay hydrated, stay out of the bad air quality. And then I've already talked about the seasonal shifts. The polar vortexes have started to stir, sending us signals that fall and spring, depending on which hemisphere you're in, are on their way. Be gentle to your digestion specifically during your fall or spring, and find out from your local, what's it called? I use the Farmer's Almanac, but it tells me what zone I'm in and when fall hits. Go look at that if you're in the Northern Hemisphere in the United States specifically. There's got to be plenty of those options wherever you live to find out when fall is really coming. So, space weather is reflecting what's going on in your body, and your body might be on the struggle bus because of space weather. Do yourself a favor, look at what's happening, and do the work before it gets to you. There are signs and signals in nature constantly to let us know what's going on, like my trees already changing in my neighborhood, letting me know fall is on its way, as crazy as that sounds when it's 100 degrees outside. If you're combating fatigue, insomnia, gut changes, inflammation, skin flare-ups, emotional highs and lows, it very well might be because of the weather in space. It might be because of the moons. It might be because the planet's heartbeat has had a spike or a drop. You're not broken. You're syncing with cosmic rhythm. Just know, if you're highly sensitive like me, you're affected. You're affected by what's going on, not just on the planet, but from the sun, from the moon, from the other planets in our solar system. Isn't it fascinating having these super dense bodies? Ride the waves. Get grounded, do salt baths, reduce screen time, especially on geomagnetic storm days. Get your magnesium. Make sure you're having the right amount of magnesium for you. And if you don't know what that is, reach out to someone like me or a functional medicine doctor and ask them, what amount of magnesium should I have? And maybe do some testing to find out where that magnesium level currently is in your body. Some great teas to jump into. I know it's 100 degrees outside, but you can make these teas cold. Chamomile tea, lemon balm tea, and nettle tea. Nettle's great for the lungs, especially if you're in the wildfire zones. Lemon balm and chamomile are great for calming. Check those out and, make them hot and then put some ice on them if you really have to. When we get into fall, which I will start to really address in September, but root veggies, warming spices, cinnamon is my all-time go-to. Doesn't matter what season we're in. In the South, you guys are going into spring. Fresh greens, citrus, antihistamine herbs. So, again, you're not sick. You're syncing up with cosmic rhythms. If you want to know more about what's going on each week, I will be dropping that in my YouTube channel. I will share it in my socials as I remember to do so. But go join my YouTube channel if you want first drop on what's going on in space weather and body shenanigans. Every week I will be posting, especially if there's something going on with solar winds, solar flares, CMEs. You'll get that from me there. Thank you so much for sticking around, checking out what's going on in the body shenanigans and space weather. I'll see you on the next episode with Maria Yesburu. Hey, I just want to take a moment to talk to the women listening right now who are high-performing, strong-willed, self-competitive, and maybe a little too good at pushing through pain. You know who you are. You've built a life by going all in, whether it's your career, your sport, or your business. But lately, your body's been trying to get your attention, and not in a gentle way. It's screaming at you. If that's you, I created something for you. It's a private podcast called The Secrets of Body Whispering. And it's all about learning how to hear the subtle whispers your body is sending before they turn into full-blown screams and symptoms. I'm sharing the exact tools I use with my private one-to-one clients and group coaching clients to help them heal faster, move through chronic issues, and reconnect to the part of them that knows how to perform without burning out. So if you're ignoring the screams and you're ready to actually listen to what your body needs through the whispers, click the link in the show notes to get access. Yay! You made it to the end of the episode. Good job. Now, go share this with your friends. Go like, subscribe, leave me a review. Let me know that you like what's happening here on the Gutsy Chick podcast. And if you're a female high performer with mysterious chronic health condition, go check out the Gutsy Chick quiz so you can find out what might be holding you back from healing. And if you want more on what I do with my clients and my blog and any podcasts that I've been a guest on, go to bodywhisperhealing.com. Thanks for listening.